So let's go ahead and jump into how this organic strategy actually works. Now, when it comes to Facebook, they're changing things up a lot, and especially with a lot of things that are going on, just in general behind the scenes with their business, that there are a lot of tweaks and updates that you have to stay on top of. So with that being said, if organic marketing is not part of your strategy yet, it has got to be part of your strategy, okay? We're going to dive into just a little bit, and I have this permission with Jacob Mills of Driver Tech in Nashville, Tennessee, to be able to share some of these things because we're accomplishing some really nice milestones. Because if your marketing doesn't match up what you're doing as far as a business, it's completely defeating the purpose. Marketing is no longer meant to be a gimmick. It's not meant to be something that you can just show off and be okay with. It's got to be strategic, and you have to leverage it for your business growth. And there's things that you can do as far as your organic side of it to attract people to start conversations. And there's also systems and technology that can help with supplementing your time. So this way you can take your focus and your energy off of these things when it comes down to your you having to do administrative work when you could be doing CEO tasks and making, instead of $7 to $10 hour work, upgrading your time into being able to invest into the $200 an hour, $500 an hour time, $1,000 an hour time, and you get the point. Like, these are the things that a lot of times that keep things the wheels spinning, because where we're at when it comes down to achieving and providing a product for our business, there's things that can get what in the book, 4 Disciplines of Execution, that there's this the whirlwind that they talk about. There are the urgent things, the important things, the non-urgent things, and the non-important things. A lot of times we get stuck in the urgent and not important, but also too we get stuck in the urgent and the important, and that's where you really have to divide. You have to have discernment between the two to know exactly in the heat of the moment with emotion and everything that's going on with even social media, what tasks do you focus on that day, that moment, right now. And yes, there are fires on top of that. There are things that you have got to make sure that you're okay with. And you're probably looking through these stats right here on the screen by this point, and you're probably wondering what the heck it means. And we'll jump into that here in a second. But it's interesting to be able to see these different ways with social media. When it comes to organic, a lot of times you can accomplish more with your phone than you can with a professional camera, because a lot of times it just takes time to get the equipment and to set things up to be ideal and perfect, when in reality is people want to connect and with you and understand behind the scenes what the heck is going on. They want to know more about the ugly side of it. They want to know the struggles that you're overcoming, and the reason for that is because if you're not connecting with folks and you're only giving them the highlights, you're giving them a perception that you have it all together, and they can't relate to that because they know deep down inside, personally, individually, that they don't. And that's where if you stop trying to be perfect, then what happens is you go from perfect to start looking like a human being. Like, that's the difference between organic strategy and a lot of these failed attempts. Because when it comes to the paid marketing side of it, the paid advertising side of it only amplifies the strategy that you have when it comes to your offer and what you are happy with spending your time on. And that's why, when it comes to the organic side of it, you want to connect with people, or just naturally, and then that way, using the technology like what we're about to dive into here, you can truly start to connect with your audience. But then they start to understand and sympathize and empathize with you. That, man, you've got a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff that can happen, the things that can go wrong, that are going wrong, that can go wrong, again, that can go wrong. Because with every amazing victory, there's always seems to be like 10 problems that come with it, right? Or that come after, to try and challenge the next step of where you're going to, whether it's in your business, your personal life, because we both know that you cannot separate the two. Like, you need to have boundaries and be able to divide between how you spend your time. But we all know that personally, if we're not spending our personal time wisely and we're not putting in those boundaries and those parameters, what starts to happen is our standards start to erode, our passion starts to erode, and our hope starts to erode. And that's why social media, I know it sounds a little bit of a stretch, but that's where us being able to harmonize your creative genius, that's where we're going to dive into some of these tools and explain and understand. That way you can understand why it's so cool and why it's so important to know that from the content side of it, also to deploying a tool, the tool is not to replace you. Okay, this is to help amplify your time, to help reallocate your hours from administrative 7 to minimum wage hours to the CEO hours that you deserve to spend your time on so you can genuinely grow your business. And so a lot of times we overcomplicate it. Yeah, there's this amazing book called The Road Less Stupid, and it's incredible how a lot of times we overcomplicate things. And so there's a way that we can do that right now with where you're at, leveraging a technology that you can actually enjoy. And I know that I look like I'm 16, but let's look at the numbers and look at these stats and just see what they have unfolded for Jacob Mills and with Driver Tech out of Nashville, Tennessee. And let's just see these things really quick, because it's interesting when we're talking about different tools when it comes down to how we create content. Okay, when it comes down to content, we want to make sure that our claims there, and that we can actually if you can have something that explains what you're doing on a daily basis, like these conversations you're having all the time. Whoa, that's loud. Okay, so video auto plays. This is a tool that we have right now with this is a platform called ManyChat, and it's really it's very affordable. And there's going to be amazing use cases with this. And then there's going to be some other things too, that some downfalls and like pros and cons with any kind of technology. We all know it's a love-hate relationship with technology. And so this is a landing page type that actually builds up into there's this mobile friendly site right here. Hang on. All right, we're good. Ooh, that's like ear screeching. All right, so the video here is very simple. And that's another thing. With right here, we can actually move the video above or below the headline, and we can actually do it right here. And you can see that. Let's go there. Oh, hang on one second. I'm going to mute that. So the subtle note stuff. Back to, let's go above description. Okay, so sometimes it'll move it around. So anyways, that's not the point. Let me go back to above the headline. And so there we go. Did it work? See if it works. Yes, success. Okay, so whenever you're previewing, if you ever use ManyChat, note to self, make sure you mute that, because that, oh my gosh, that was terrible. And so you see this clean layout. This layout is very simple, and all people need to see is, wow, what is that guy doing? Because automatically you're intrigued. Okay, so that's the content side of it, the psychological side of it. They're intrigued by this and they want to click more and learn more. So that's where they're going to come through this bot. They're going to experience a couple questions. They're going to be greeted by the bot and understanding that it is an automation. Okay, it is not trying to be a human. Okay, it is not trying to be you. It is trying to let them know that you are innovative. It is a tool and a gizmo that they can show off and have fun with it. Because if you can't have fun with this, then what happens is the customers start to get irritated. They're like, this is gimmicky. I don't like any of this. I don't want it. And so they just want to see a video, very straightforward, very honest and transparent. And so when we build the bots out, we want to make sure that we preface it that this is not trying to imitate a human. Then they're going to challenge it. It's like a kid when you tell that the stove is hot. Don't do it. And so anyways, so the video is very clean. They come through the button and they go straight to the process. And it's very straightforward, and it's shared with a hyperlink, which is very useful. You can backlink it on blogs. You can backlink it on Facebook comments. You can even, if you're really tech savvy, you can go back in the developer side of Facebook and create an app and have that as a tab on your Facebook page. And that's like, some people are going to hear this and you're be like, what? And so it's really, really straightforward. And when you're able to find different ways, find ways to even just send the link to someone in a messenger. Like there's so much business that I get connected with on Facebook Messenger that you don't have to overcomplicate this, okay? Like this is so simple. And so it's a basic link, like how you find a link or a post on Facebook or an article on whatever news outlet you're a fan of. Like that's the thing. Like you can share that link just as is and get creative. Even if you're into making marketplace postings, put this into a comment. And that's where we're going to get into here a little bit when you're using group posting, when you're using different things on Facebook or any other way. I'd love to be able to use some of these bots that are built on different platforms. There's another one like ManyChat, but there's another platform called Drift, and there's different ways that you can share this bot, embed it into your website. And as you can see down in the bottom over here on the other side of this screen, on the other way. You see this little blue one, like that right there. That's called an in-app chatbot. So that's a whole different mechanism than ManyChat. And so that you'll see that's like with Freshdesk, I believe is what it was with. But there's different types and different tools for a different tool, like toolboxes and goals that need to be achieved. This is a very, very simple one, especially when you're using Facebook organic marketing and to be able to use this. So the landing page is very simple and can be used actually if they're doing for like an email would be a really, really good use case, especially when it comes down to a landing page, because it helps their mind mentally stop. And they're able to see this and they're able to reset expectations. Remember, in sales, it's all about expectations, right? You need to make sure that you're able to reset expectations and be honest with people and be transparent. And that's where you're able to really connect. And that's where, in a glimpse, they're able to see that video headline, cool, learn more, go through. Like, that's it. Excuse me. And so that's where you're able to really dial in to find out what they want. And so let's go back over here. So that's the landing page. It's just I'll just think that's, yeah, because I moved the video around. All right, so there's different tools too. So you can see here we created some drafts, never did anything with it. That's usually happens. You get ideas and like, oh my gosh, let's go with these because they're killing it. And so let's go down here. All right, so this is a bot link that we had 135 opt-ins into, and we had 68% click through on it. It's good. 135%, it's a numbers game. You want to make sure that you got a good quantity coming through that are at least a good quality, so that way they can cycle down and factor into a lot of it. And the data on this is awesome. Like, I love it. Organic marketing, excuse me, I got gas. Organic marketing, but also too, when it comes down to being able to track what is working, but also you can build a list. You can build a list straight from organic Facebook marketing. You can pop this up to your email, and I can go into that here a little bit later. But this whole video is all about the psychology of the Facebook side of organic marketing, but also combining the chat into it, so that way you can really start to cash roll some stuff. It would be really cool. And with this bot, we've got 3 different options down here. You can see that you've got the inspection, you've got installation, and also you've got dryer vent cleaning. These are his main 3 offers. Okay, like nothing else matters. We want to make sure that we can get in here, but we know the MVP is the dryer vent cleaning, because that is usually the most popular one, because that's the most frequent. So folks need that to prevent house fires, and it's actually happens more than you think. And I was surprised when we started working together, the numbers and the research I did on it, I was just blown away. And so there's just a lot of stuff in the home industry that he's doing, and it's doing fantastic. So let's actually come back over here. We're going to go to the mechanisms, and then we're going to go over to the stats side of it, because this next tool is my favorite. Okay, say you've got a Facebook ad going, you've got a crazy viral post going, you've got over 200 shares, you got 1,000 shares, 10,000, you're a baller, and you got over 100,000 people sharing your stuff, and you're killing it. A bot can actually turn that engagement from comments over straight into leads. Now, that's awesome. Like, that is something that you can create social engagement, virality, and leads. And so being able to have these opt-ins and the conversion rates are really neat, because nothing else matters except for this guy when it comes to qualified appointments. And yes, this is not the biggest, brightest, shiniest case study in the world, but look, this thing created $4,000 in the front end for him for free and on automation. Like, the guy didn't lift a finger to schedule these appointments, and they were double booked, confirmed. Heyo. I know in my sales experience that if you don't double confirm the appointment, it's rare that they remember. All right, and so that's where the bot can do that. And whether you're using Calendly, Acuity, whatever, Hootenanny, Humdinger, calendar scheduler that you're using, you can actually use this to come back through. And whenever you're posting in a group, say you post an amazing piece of content in the group, say you're a real estate agent, and you're able to come through and post something that is elegant, that is exquisite, especially for that community. Say you post a house that's in marketplace. A lot of folks are going to blow your inbox up, and that can be just absolutely ridiculous. So what happens is will shoot you a message, and you can use a bot link, not the comments, because that's secluded to a post, but you can use a hyperlink. And then what happens is that hyperlink, like a URL, like a domain, like facebook.com, it'll have that type of link that you have with it dedicated to that specific audience. You can make as many of these as you want to track different case studies and experiments that you may have in mind. And it's pretty cool. And so that way we can start to track where they're connecting with. And then also, too, like say they message you just like from the marketplace, what we're talking about, but also you have that link. That link, you can send it to them in a message. They go through that and you frame it right. You say, hey, this is my automated qualifier. Let's just see if you qualify. And they go open and pop up a messenger. They're like, dude, this is cool. And that was one of the things too with Jacob. His customers came back. They're like, that bot was so cool. Like, I mean, give for granted, we had some people say some really snarky stuff and some weird stuff. Um, you can make some memes out of the things that people are saying on the back end of these things. It's just, it's entertaining to say the least. But being able to come through and use these type of links. So you've got through here the bot link, which just had 135 opt-ins. This is more likely the one that he was using in groups. And what we did over here, here's a setup right here. And here, this is the link right here that he would drop in comments, that he would put in the copy of the post. Like you make a lot of content, you find out what people are engaged with, and you make sure that you just monitor it. Like this stuff is not like I discovered fire. This is just me being observant. And this is something that when you're looking for these different types of shares in the comments, especially when you're doing live streams, like if you're doing a live stream, that's an organic webinar. Build the thing up, have fun with it. Use some of the direct stuff that Facebook has embedded with it, and I guarantee you the natural native site will actually kick that thing up and reward you for it because it's on Facebook. Now, that's what's unique about ManyChat is it's overlaid on Facebook Messenger. Good and bad, because of the different GDPR rules and the stuff that's going on. So you have to be aware of that. And there's a lot of other platforms that are not overlaid on Facebook Messenger like ManyChat is, but this is a very, very cost-effective solution and very quick to set up too. So you can have very fast, actionable results, and actually even get this template that's with this guy's thing. Like I can duplicate this template over to your account, and you can actually have this thing available. And that's why it's available for purchase. But it's being able to use this type of setting to help solve your problem quick. And so the link to say, like, he would put it in comments, going back to posting in groups, relevant groups. If you post a bunch of content in groups and you're just an idiot with it, you're going to get kicked out. Just letting you know, just follow the freaking rules. Like, it's not rocket science, okay? Like, goodness gracious. Like, a lot of folks are just like, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. We're like, you're an idiot, you're a dork, stop it, please, no, bye. Thor's hammer, like band hammer, but like that's the thing. And so you have to be just be helpful to people, like serve people. So many people jump into these groups that are so selfish. They don't connect with anyone. They don't do anything. And they expect that everyone to be like, oh hell, the new website. Like, come on, man. Like, no one gives a rip. Like, it always goes back to people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. Like, that is it. And that's why being able to have this, you have to create content that's helpful. Revelation of the century. Like, and it's part of using that content that you get creative. Let your creative genius shine. And then that way, if people are serious about taking action, make it available to them. And that's why, when it comes to the link, people can message you. You can put in the first comment of it, pin that to, put it in the copy of it where it makes sense. Shorten this to a Bitly link. Just be careful with Bitly because some platforms hate Bitly. Just so you know, if you think I'm full of it, just go research it, go Google it. As they say, go you Google-ize it in the majestic words of Zoolander. Let's go back through here and lost my place for a second. All right, now the comment side of it, this is something that you want to be very careful with. You want to just pop up. It all goes back to the content again, and let's come on. All right, here we go. Okay, all right. So this is where being able to have, and see, this is where it gets really, really cool. This is something that when it comes to the comments, it can be tricky, and you have to be very careful with it. And so if you're not too sure about the comments, like the reason why I say this is because I have a client that they, holy cow, they get so much engagement that we are fine tuning this side of it right now, that when we kick it off, oh my gosh, it's going to go into the hundreds of thousands of subscribers within the first week. Like, it's going to go insane. And so you have to be very, very careful. This all goes back to the psychology of your customer. But thing is, do you love them? Like, that's really is what it boils down to. If you're having trouble with that, gut check. So when it comes down to the post on Facebook, the comment side of it can get really tricky. When it comes to your content has got to match that connecting point for the bot, so that way it's natural. It cannot be like bam, 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 sales, 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 sales. You know, like blah, 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 blah. This is awesome. We think you're awesome because this is awesome, and you're going to be even more awesome because we're awesome. Like, a lot of it comes across that way, and you don't even intend to it. But if you don't match the content to the connecting point for the bot, it can get explosive in the worst possible way that you don't want. And so you have to make sure that whatever you're posting, that if it is a general address, that it's going to be when it pops up. Because the way this works is that if they comment with either a keyword or just in general, the first top of the comments, this will pop up and ask them a question, or just notify them on Messenger. It'll pop across their screen right here, and that way it's actually interferes with their daily routine. And that's why it gets such high open rate and click-through rate if it's simple. Okay, keywords, simple. So when it comes to your content, making sure that when they comment on a post, the bot needs to pop up where it's a correlating connection and it's natural. Okay, it cannot be something that's offset, left field, out of the blue. That's like, what the beep is going on? Like, there's no way that it can have that, because that's not what you want them. That's not the response you want to hear. Because I said, remember I said earlier, we've gotten some really, really interesting responses from people, even if it made sense. They were, because you want to outweigh the good and bad and everything else. So now we've never had anyone go from Messenger to writing a bad review or anything like that. But because we're very diligent on that. When it comes to the bot, it's like buying a car. If you can't afford the maintenance, don't buy it. And so that's where it's also comes down to time and energy and focus, and what should you be focused on. And so let's jump into the logistics of all that, just as long as that all makes sense. Cool. But making sure that with tracking the first level comments only. So what happens is there's a lot of folks that try to go in there and they'll comment. There's like the first level comments that you have, then you have also that below that is like a whole other discussion happening below that. So that's what a sub-level comment is, and the comment thread on that. So if you want to track only the top level comments, you can. We set it to off of this, so that way you can just ping up, bam, bam, and just be able to ask, hey, is there anything we can do to help? And also too, I think this one was with a video, and so it was just popping up repeatedly. I think it was like about every 10 seconds. That let's see. Okay, so we wanted to really pop it up to anyone who said prices, cost, and pricing. That's what it was. So we were doing a good push for a campaign, and this is where I think that he had got quite a few double booked appointments. It was really, really awesome. Okay, yep. So that was where we incentivized them to connect, because when it comes to the comments, it's one of those things, again, when I said it's very tricky, because it can go really, really good or really, really bad. And I've had both. And I have been in that where it was like midnight at night, the campaign kicked off for a buddy in the past. And next thing I know, I've got like 100 error messages, and I'm like, oh my God. And so pulled some ninja stuff and jumped into that campaign, fired something off, fixed it, remedied it, and it was like imagine a fire extinguisher the size of California. And sorry, that was probably a bad reference. That was totally unintentional. But just the size of a state. And it was just like immediately, it was like aloe vera on the worst sunburn in your entire life. And it was like it was like on fire immediately. And it was where you have to be on top of it. I'm serious. And so if you're picking a post and it's going viral, or you're getting really, really good traction on it, you have to be very cautious and that you're on standby when these things kick off. If you don't have someone watching over it, if my team's not watching over it for you, or if you have someone else that's on demand, like right there for you, that's where being able to make sure that you've got everything that you need and taking care of it. And so you have to take care of make your house is in order. And so that's the thing right here. This is something that's very important when it comes to Rare Ventec Messenger Assistant. Like that is something that we're very cautious about. Sorry, I get my lips are dry. It's cold here today, but that's where like it's introduced to people to where they understand that this is not a human being. Okay, like they understand this is a technology that you have put in place to be innovative and to operate lean. So that way they can, the thing is, a lot of folks want to go through this so that way they don't talk to a salesman, right? So they can go through this and break this thing back and forth. But what's interesting is that they'll go through this faster than lightning because they don't want to be sold. They want to get information, and if it's relevant to them, then they can take that next step. And that's how you want to create that subtle art of framing. Hang on. That subtle art of framing and being able to really connect them with the information that they want right now to where you can lead that into a sale without you doing anything. No hands. No hands. But like that's where you can really truly have fun with it. And so these are some of the principles and the psychology behind it, but also some of the logistical tactics that you can use right now. Right now. Go make a live stream. Get like either make it like get into ManyChat and make your own chatbot, or come into here and just use these tactics. And if you're already a client, you already know why I'm doing a general address. But like that is something that is it's so powerful that if you know your offer, you know your sales script, you know the rebuttals, like you know what you can answer ahead of time to shut that down, to get that sale. Like that is what's so powerful, so awesome. And that's why you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to convert people into repeat buyers, referrals, and to gamify it. Come on, man. Like that's what's really cool because I can track every button and click into here, and that's where this gets really, really cool. No need to save. All right. Let's see. Let's go actually to something I had. Let's go back to the bot link because the bot link is what's used usually the most, and because it's tactful. It's like it's like you're in the back right here. So you make sure you have it for like close combat. So a lot of times it's just with conversations. Like people will hit me up and hit up like people that are using the bots, and they'll either answer the questions right there at the end of the time, or if they don't, then they'll just send them the link to get pre-qualified. And so you can even see here, like these are some of the data metrics that you have that are like, it's just like being able to know exactly what is tracked for your content improvement. Like these are things that we went back through, like, you know what, that one definitely didn't get one that we were expecting, or so we didn't really use it. Then we had one that right here that got better traction. You use split test. You have fun with it. And these are the data points you want. Like this is where we knew how to double down and really focus in, and that's where we got that. I mean, that link was the easiest because with group posting, with events, with different ways that even if you make an event, put the bot link right there at the location. Register all day. So that right there should make a whole bunch of money. I may actually come back and edit that out, but we'll see. But you can see here as far as the data metrics, these are some of the coolest things right here. Looking at these different buttons and different services that they're most interested in. So that's where you can start to also know this is where I need to shift in my offer, that I still do this and I still do this, but this is what I'm showcasing because that's the most interested service that you have. And so that's where you can start tracking a lot of that data. It doesn't seclude these two offers that you already have, but also it gives you a focal point because you can dial in like a laser and know exactly what that offer is, and then you create more content for that. If they come through here and they die off halfway through it, then you know it's like, okay, maybe this isn't it, what they're really interested in, and so you can start to split some of your focus on it, or some of your focus on what you're talking about. Easy. And so being able to have that trackable data is super powerful. So they go through the zip codes and everything that they need. Actually, let's go back over here. Hang on. Let's see. Dude. And you're probably wondering about why in the world am I up at 4 a.m.? All right. Let's go through here. We got the respondents. And you can see here that this is the zip code database. If they don't match this, they get an upcharge. And if they don't like the upcharge, out. And so that's the thing too, is that being able to segment them and declassify them as far as interested in, or really people who are shopping around and bargaining, you don't need to lower your rates to that, but also too, like, I mean, you got to cover your expenses, your profit margins. You got to protect your own house. And so that's what the bot helps to do as well, because it helps you to get rid of the tire kickers, like, bing. That was supposed to be an arrow, sorry, wrong way. But like, that's where you're able to track a lot of that and know exactly if, like, a lot of them are ground level above 15 feet, etc. And like, these are the different types of data points that look like 80% click through on this side of it. This is one of his more expensive services. That's a wrong name for it. Let's see. Okay, so actually I take that back. So the inspections are something that he offers, I believe, I think it's one of his lower tier, like lower fruit hanging offers, but it's unique because these are the data you get from it. So you get the point. And so kind of go back over to the growth tools. This is something that, as you're creating content naturally, organically on Facebook, this is going to help you create more time. Because a lot of times you don't really need to spend a butt ton of money on ads. You can attract people, measure what's working, and then double down on it and deploy a bot. So that way, as you're like fleshing this out and then you're talking to people, you're fine tuning your sales script. Because what can help people convert to an appointment faster? Like in a discussion that someone that you're talking with right now, how are you able to connect with them immediately? Say you're behind the counter at a major supplier store, and you're talking to someone, like either the owner or the manager or somebody that pulls a lot of strings in that company, and they're like, you're just catching up with them. Yeah, they ask you what you do. What should they know that if I were to work with them, that they would need to know? And that's where you start taking that from the back of your mind. That pitch, that 45-second pitch that you've got, the 60-second pitch that you've got, fine tune it. Use a bot to start doing it. Total accidental rhyme. Got bars. No, I don't. But so that's, but when it comes down to the bot and you're creating this content, you connect with people. You connect with people and you use this in any way you can, where it makes sense. You don't replace yourself. And that's the thing. The bot is not to replace you. It is to help you become more strategic with your CEO hours and your owner hours, to where that way you stop becoming an owner operator. You're able to come through here and train folks and know exactly what they need to do, and use this bot as a way, as a mechanism to even dispatch to your admin team. Support tickets can be a big pain in the butt, just saying, because if you're not able to track exactly what people can do, then man, you're shooting in the dark. You really are. So this has effectively been able to create $4,000 on autopilot on the front end, but also a $15,000 follow-up potential when it comes to following up with these leads and knowing exactly what can be done. So, excuse me, just like with an email list, imagine being able to track all of these people who go through your bot. Even just put yourself in the shoes. Like, imagine if you had 250 people knocking at your door right now. Put it in perspective. A lot of folks are like, 250 leads ain't nothing. For this guy, it was. And I imagine if you had 250 leads right now with your content, because of who you are, the proportion would be the same. I mean, numbers will vary, but when it comes down to you, your offer, and your audience, and you're able to connect and create more time for you, people respect that. If they don't, you don't want to do business with them anyways. Like, seriously. Like, you didn't start your business to work for them. And you know what I mean? We all serve people. Like, I'm here, I want to educate to help bring you up to speed on this. Like, but you are no one's, like, you don't owe anyone anything but to love them. And if they don't respect your standards and your boundaries, then you're not a good fit. Yeah, I've got one rule. If you can't laugh with me, you can't work with me. If you haven't giggled through any of this, sorry, we're not a good fit. But numbers talk. And that's why that's why it's interesting, because a lot of folks do overcomplicate things, and a lot of times they're just overwhelmed. And that's why when you're able to create content, and I wanted to make this a much longer video than what it normally would be, but I felt the urgency to help unravel some of those things. Because if you're able to see that someone else can do it in a completely different industry and be able to see other case studies popping up, and you'll see more. But that's where you're able to match the offer to the audience, and it doesn't matter. You need sales, you need marketing, you need conversion, definitely need data nowadays. And now you need to be able to tap into to correlate everything together to harmonize with your creative genius. And I know harmonize is like a big word. It's like, oh, look at him getting all spiffy on me. But like, seriously, like you have to have everything in alignment with how you're created as a human being. So that way you're not spreading yourself thin in a way that you don't enjoy yourself. Like if you're like right now, it's 4 a.m. as the time I'm recording this, because I'm up early, up early, and I'm not going to sleep right now. I'm in flow, so to speak. And that really, if you ever see y2made.com, don't ever use it. You downloading YouTube videos, don't ever use it. Anyways, so these push-up notifications are, I guarantee if I click another button, another one will pop up. And so, but anyway, so with that, I'm going to edit that out. But with that being said, you want to be able to track all these different types of data points. You need to make sure that with your organic content that you're going to be able to leverage your time. Because if you're like, and there's a way to have a chain reaction domino effect when it comes to creating content. But if you don't have those cornerstones with your offers and you're being able to have everything in place, you will get overwhelmed so fast that they will call you the roadrunner. Facts. Ask any online entrepreneur, and if they say that it's a cakewalk, you need to either hang the phone up or run. It's like that. It's like, what was it, that old song? Run. But like seriously, like really, there's a strategy to it, so that way you don't have a lot of static going on between your ears. Okay, and so these are things that do work right now, and they change weekly. These strategies are not set in stone. They are updated weekly. There are things that, with so many different compliances with like the ads managers and different, like they're taking away data points for demographics and other stuff. So these are the kind of things that when it comes to your organic side of it, you really truly need to optimize your time. And when they're going through this stuff, you need a mechanism to be able to track it. And so this is something that's very useful and very helpful. And I mean, organic has been a very, very safe way to capitalize on your content, just on your I say content, but what I mean by your content is your creative genius. Now you have a sense of humor and you have a way to connect with people that throws them off, and it's not a cardinal sin to be you, okay? And that's why this bot is supposed to be a voice for you, and you have a lot of fun with it too. So hope this helped to shed light on the purpose of this video was to record for my clients, but also to you, the benefactor of being able to see this as well. And I hope all this made sense, whether you're on the public view seeing this from the outside looking in, or if you're a client watching this on the back end of it for training purposes. You know where to reach me at, message me, and perhaps jump into my bot. And so bot, B-O-T, could have gone south. No pun intended. Man, this is just nowhere I can clean that up. But anyways, but there's just so much potential with a chatbot that you can do with your organic side of it. And it's exciting. It really, truly is, to be able to use these tools to help make more time. So either shoot me an email, message me, shoot me a text if you have any questions. And I look forward to answering anything that comes to mind. And hopefully this helps to create some peace in your mind and lower those levels of anxiety. And that way you can start saying that this is not Skynet, and this is actually going to be able to help you become a faster, leaner, bigger green machine. So then green machine on purpose. So do it. But hopefully this made sense. If you have any questions, I look forward to hearing from you.